I'm Padma Lakshmi, and I love when complex flavors and colorful styles come together in simple and beautiful ways. Join me over chai with unique makers and original creators. This is Sweet Meat Spicy. I want to know what is different about what you do, because it sounds intense and just labor intensive and also layered.
On the artistic side, it's about where that inspiration comes from and where that story comes from that you need to release in perfume. For me, a lot of that has to do with travel. And so I'll live with a memory for a long time before I jump into the science aspect of it.
I know that to make one of these perfumes of yours, it takes months and months. Can I just have like a crash course on what your process is?
Basically, the perfumer has access to about 1,500 ingredients.
Okay.
So even something that might, stink to the normal person, like seaweed, you have to think about it as a tool.
Your fragrances with their names and the way they smell are so evocative of almost a very subjective personal state that you're in.
A lot of people have that time in their lives when they just want to kind of leave their old life behind and almost like grow up in a way and have an adventure. And so that's what the smell of Maui is for me. It's really a sense of freedom that I was trying to create the smell of.
So it's jungle, it's freedom.
All the inspiration comes from nature because this is what I can recall. And then they're distilled.
Not only is what you put together important, but the proportion. Like when my grandmother makes chai, for instance, she doesn't get precious about it. She does it 6 times a day. But when she tastes someone else's version of it, by the time I hand it to her and it makes it to her lips, she's like, oh, that is way too much cinnamon.
Yeah, my mind doesn't even smell perfume the same way. Probably pretty much like your grandmother in the chai. I'm so familiar with it that I can start picking out ingredients when I smell something or identify the perfume.
So I'm smelling this jasmine. I grew up with jasmine in India, so
lucky.
I'm very familiar with the smell. It's one of my most favorite smells in the world.
You'll see that once it's distilled, the scent is more concentrated. So it has less of that sort of
soft
floral headiness and more of that really intense base.
This is almost clearing my sinuses. It's so intense. And what about spicy? So we've done the sweet.
Of course, yeah.
What's the spicy?
Spice is a huge one. We've got pepper, star anise, clove. Tobacco would fit into wood. That's cedar. I have a fragrance called Hunter that has tobacco in it. It's about Vermont. It's about the winter time. It's about feeling cozy.
It's very comforting.
Thank you. It's really cozy. I always think of flannel shirts.
It makes me think of when it gets cold. It makes me think of jumping in a pile of fall leaves or carving a pumpkin.
That's the kind of smell I was going for. Someone can really love a scent and someone can really dislike a scent. And so it really has more to do with whether or not I'm happy with the fragrance and whether I feel like it's complete. And you just kind of have to trust your gut at that point and let go and say, okay, I'm ready to release this one into the world.